So I got to take a quick little poll here because I asked Caleb with his great eyeballing skills, how many pours do we think this is? Caleb's at 2.5. Mark, what do you got?
I'm going to agree with Caleb, 2.5.
Chase.
Yeah, it's a pretty stout 2.5.
Brian, I know you're the contrarian.
That is one drink.
There we go. Hey, there we go. Attaboy. Yeah, the age-old problem that you run into when you get near the bottom of the bottle. This is obviously the last of my Stag Junior. It was like this much, right? And so I'm like, that can only be a little bit, right? And yeah, ended up being a lot more. So finally, Caleb, that Stag Junior bottle I've been nursing for like 1.5 years is dead. So I would say pour one out, but I think I just poured it into my glass. But anyways, we are on the wrong lead here. We are going to be taking a look at some of these stakes races coming up this Saturday. We would normally be playing Sam Houston live. However, I don't know what happened. They must either change their post time or they just have less races.
In chat, it does say that apparently on Thursdays they are starting at 4 now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's kind of a bummer. I kind of dig like the late night action.
Yeah,
like the old
too.
like Hollywood Park stuff used to run way back when.
Yeah, it was. See, the thing is we've done this before, where we bet Sam Houston and Turfway Park on Thursday nights. Like, or
I think it's a new change.
No, we used to do it on Fridays, didn't we?
We did used to do it on Fridays. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I think they run later on Fridays because at some point I was just like firing away at like midnight on their last race still or something stupid.
On the bright side, Josh, you might be able to hit the early pick 5 at Golden Gate the way things are looking.
Are they even going to run? Have they still not officially canceled?
They have not. ExpressBet is still showing a 27-minute countdown for race 2.
And it just keeps starting over.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, so they're running the Gulfstream time.
Yeah, I won't hold my breath on that one, but you know, we'll see how that ends up. Yeah, so I got a couple of races here fired up. Turfway is running, so I may be peeking at Turfway. We will see. Anybody in the chat is playing Turfway, feel free to chime in, and we'll talk a little Turfway here. I already see some active in the chat. Vengi, obviously, Mr. Nick Dayton likes to call it out that we're idiots and forgetting Sam Houston starts. Actually, it was just me, not you guys. Jared in the chat saying hello. John Massey in the chat saying hello. John did send me a picture of that mug and t-shirt I sent him out. So looking sharp there. Road Warrior out there also. So we will hope to hear some more from you guys. See what you guys think on these races. We're gonna start with the Gotham here. Grade 3 Gotham. We're looking at some, like I said, Derby points races here. Let me go ahead and turn on my little screen share here. And we're gonna be starting. Whoa, we're gonna be starting here. It looks like it's race 9 on the card. Gotham. We're gonna be going a mile here. Mark, you know, when we kind of started talking about this, you were. There was a horse in here that you kind of liked. I know Caleb was trying to talk you out of it, but why don't you walk us through this race? How are you seeing this race here, Mark?
Yeah, so this race tends to be the you don't want to run Verse Life and Good is Good in California, so you need a place to run your horse, and therefore you ship them to Aqueduct in beginning of March so that you can run them in a mile. Caleb and I were sort of talking, and I somehow had it in my head that the Gotham is a mile and an eighth, when in fact it is actually a mile. So I sort of landed on Freedom Fighter in here. Makes a lot of sense. Figs came back real good, and Pedigree really well suits this sort of a distance. Now, does he want to stretch out any further than this? Well, his Pedigree probably says he doesn't, but we're running at a mile today. We're getting Derby points. If you want to, make the starting gate for Saturday in May, this is probably a nice spot to take a shot. Don't imagine Baffert sending this one to New York. I mean, obviously, it's probably for the distance. It's probably that this one doesn't want to go any further, but he's also did ship it, so that's not there's a cost associated there, and I would assume this one's pretty live. And I think the other horse that I sort of landed on here was one of the two Chads, which is Highly Motivated. JJ got the waivers on the COVID protocol, so he could come up and ride that one. Was fairly impressive winning the Nyquist. Again, I don't know if this is, this one, this distance should work real well for this one, and makes a lot of sense. But quite honestly, I think, as we're talking grander Derby prep season, this is probably the B team or C team, as most of those horses are concerned. People trying to get points, hoping they can make the starting gate, so they had a Derby starter. But, unless somebody here takes a pretty massive step forward, I don't think we're going to be talking about these being the winners come Derby time.
All right, Caleb, what did you think here?
Yeah, I don't want to like the Baffert horse. Sorry, I'm getting an echo. I don't know who that's from. I don't really want to like the Baffert horse in here. And he's not my top pick, but he's certainly a horse that figures. When Baffert ships to New York, they're typically live. I think the horse is here because he's got a sprint-oriented pedigree. This is a one-turn mile, so this is the race every sprinter tries to target, kind of like Mark pointed out already. I do agree with him. The Chad Brown, Highly Motivated, makes a ton of sense. The horse won his last two starts. He is stretching out here, but it seems like a mile should be well within his wheelhouse. I do think that he's going to get a pretty honest pace to run after here, so I do think someone from off the pace makes a ton of sense. And I really just think he looks so obvious that it's tough for me to get around him here. Castellanos picked up a few wins at Gulfstream, so he's finally starting to ride a little bit better now, so I don't feel quite as bad about that. The other horse I was probably a little interested in was the 6, Capo Cane. Like I said, there is a lot of speed in here, so I'm not really sure how he works out the trip unless he just runs this field into the ground. But I thought he ran a nice race last time. He has what appear to be maybe some distance limitations. He had everything his own way, and the weather just wasn't quite good enough. But I think cutting back to a mile, he makes some sense here if you think that he can get on the lead and take him all the way. But I really would be mostly playing through the favorite here, Highly Motivated.
Chase, you got anything cooking here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Capo Cane. Part of it is just that I really like seeing these Parks horses ship out to New York or ship to other places and succeed in some of the bigger stakes races. I think a cutback will really do that horse some good. And if you run into a just early speed juiced Naira racetrack, Capo Cane, really it kind of plays to its favor. Pace wise, it does not fit Capo Cane. I do think it works out a little bit more for Highly Motivated, kind of making that middle move. And then the other horse, and this is 100% a buyer beware. But with the odds as high as they are, and you got to figure probably higher by the time it comes first post, you have to maybe take a look at the Reds, because the pace also fits for the Reds. He's cutting back off of a mile and an eighth, loses Carmouche, which is a kind of a knock against it. And the other big knock, and this is why it's really a buyer beware and probably why 30-1 is a fair morning line price, but still worth the shot, is running without Lasix. Going onto the Derby trail, removing Lasix after running on the Lasix the last two, and you could really see a bump in his performance once they added Lasix to him. So maybe he doesn't need them. The pace setup is there. I wouldn't mind putting $1 or $2 to win on that horse, but I got to think that this Chad Brown horse might be the horse to beat.
Brian, what you got?
I got nothing. I have no desire to play this race. I have no desire to spend money at Aqueduct on Saturday. And
Yeah,
for the sake of the show, I'll say I thought Capo Kane was money on the cutback, but this is the kind of race that I just watch, and being the New York 3-year-olds, it doesn't excite me.
yeah. Honestly, I wasn't like super excited about this race. I think the one horse that you guys didn't talk about that does interest me a little bit is the other Chad Brown horse, which I'm sure on dirt is just like the absolute like way to burn money here in crowded trade. I just think that he closed into a slow pace in 6 furlongs. By More Than Ready, so I think getting a mile won't be a problem. One thing I do know about More Than Ready is his progeny seem to not mind not having Lasix. So I think that maybe the 5 here is worth a shot. Coming, like I said, going to get the same type of pace setup I think he got in his maiden win. So I'll be interested to see what kind of price you get on the 5. But outside of the 5, I don't know. I feel like it's like pick your poison with all these need to lead types, and who knows what happens. But at the same time, it's New York, so we might end up with that nonsense where we have all these horses that look like they have speed and like only one of them goes. So I haven't looked too much lately at Aqueduct with I've mostly been focusing on Gulfstream, so I don't really know if that kind of funny business has been playing out much lately with the Jock Colony that's there now. Yeah, I'm taking a look here at the chat. Road Warrior says that he's not looking at Aqueduct, but he was quick to say 5-3-7-4 upon first look. So Road Warrior seeing it kind of similar to me. I think he thinks that 5 coming off the pace. Jared likes Wipe the Slate. I don't know. Did we really talk about Wipe the Slate here?
Yeah, Wipe the Slate's the other shipper, other West Coast invader. Doug O'Neill has had a history of shipping to New York to avoid to avoid Baffert horses that are prospective monsters. So this wouldn't. I don't think is a real shock. Kendrick takes them out, which is always a nice thing to see in New York. A horse makes some sense. Not a horse that I really loved. I guess you can throw the RB Lewis off, out. But it's going to be part of that pace pressure, or pace picture. Again, I'm assuming be very forwardly placed, and I sort of agree with, and a couple of you have already said that there's a lot of pace in here, and I just don't know if this sets up for Wipe the Slate.
One thing I will say for Wipe the Slate, actually 2 things. One being he gets Kendrick Carmouche. The second being that Doug O'Neill is pulling the blinkers off here. So maybe he's not quite as forwardly placed. Maybe he gets a little bit of rate, and he doesn't, while he looks like he's someone who's going to factor into the speed, that he might actually kind of be able to drop off of it. Looks like he had trouble in the RB Lewis, and with the way they're running on the front end, if this is a horse that needs to be forwardly placed after taking that bump, might have even knocked the wind out of him too, because he looks like he just really folded up at about the second call.
Anything else on this race?
On to Turfway.
On the Turfway. Well, I did see that we did get a couple. So race 6 looks like there were a couple minutes to post here. Brian did give a quick little pick 3 ticket here: 5, 7, 9, 10, 8, 9, 4, 9, 11. I believe he said this is Mario style.
This is Mario style. There's a lot of prices here. You figure the 5 and the 10, they're both going to be double digits when this race goes off. So if one of those comes through, maybe we get lucky.
Chase also gave me a pick 3 here: 1, 6, 8, 1, 9, 3, 9, 11. And then I think you also got an exacta 8 over 1, 6, 7 here, Chase.
Yeah, I kind of took a peek at this and it looked like maybe I could have it might just be the inexpensive Velocity, but I kind of thought that we could get maybe this 8 loose on the lead and try to catch the 1 or the 6, hopefully closing underneath.
And Caleb, I don't know if you sent me the right bet, Caleb. It looks like you're playing a trifecta.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Not really, but I didn't get the last 2 races handicapped, and I want to get something with this 9 at 5-1 feels like an overlay here, so gonna try to catch something in a try with the 1, 4, 5, and 10 underneath.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more simple than you guys. I didn't get a chance to look at any of the other races here going forward. I was focused on Sam Houston most of the afternoon. I do really like this one though. I think this one's going to get a nice little setup here. It seems like Off the Pace has been playing pretty well. So I'm going to go with this one here at Turfway. It looks like they're loading in the gate. And just so you guys know, we're going to be heading over to Tampa Bay after this. So get ready for a little Tampa Bay Derby after this race runs here. Now, Mark, I know the Tampa Bay Derby does hold a special place in your heart from last year.
Yeah, that was quite the nice pick 4.
And did you see the news that Mr. Avila is going to do the same thing with what's the name of the horse? Whole Bodemeister or whatever?
King of Dreams.
No, the Bodemeister horse that won.
Yeah, my whole Bodemeister.
My whole Bodemeister.
The one that won the Honey Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were already.
He's going to train up to the Derby or the
Yep,
Oaks.
he's going to train up to
he's
the Derby
or
to the Oaks. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, because that worked so well last time.
Yeah. Looks like they're off here at Turfway.
Last year's a little bit of an aberration. So.
Yeah, it was. It was actually kind of unfortunate. I thought King Guillermo peaked pretty early. I think. I mean, let's be honest, dude. Tiz the Law probably has a shot at the Triple Crown. I think if they run, Authentic didn't peak until late in the year. It was a kind of a late in the year 3-year-old. So,
oh, for sure. Tiz the Law probably wins the Triple Crown if it's held at standard time.
So Chase, who did you think the pace here at Turfway was? The 9?
I was hoping it would be the 8 out there on the front. It looks like 8 decided to take back while the 2's kind of running pretty comfortable margins out on the front.
The 1's a lot closer than I was expecting here.
Same.
I did like your 1, Josh, but I feel like the rail. I still have it in my head. The rail's bad, so I kind of faded him to underneath.
Well, at least like from the races I've seen, like they'll come up the rail on the backside. And then once they come up here, like they're just exiting the turn, it's just like everybody just like fans out. So we'll see if Landeros tries to go on the rail. Looks like he is dead set on coming up the rail, and we'll see what happens. He cut the corner good.
9's got a shot. Holy shit, anyone has a shot. I hate this angle.
The camera at the finish line's not much better.
I mean, I think my 9's going to win.
Shot up the gap.
Oh, it's a 10.
Get there, 10. Get there, 10. Get there, 10.
Oh, the
10 there's your
up.
10. Look at that.
Looks like 10, 9, 12, 7.
I was sure that one looked like he was in a good spot. I wonder if he was a little bit off the rail.
So
I don't know. Like, go ahead.
He was in a
18-1
good spot, and then he just went the wrong way off the turn and tried to make that move. And it's just I don't watch a whole lot of Turfway, but from what I've seen, that rail move is not going to get it done.
There you go. There's 18-1 home in that first leg.
That's what I needed.
There you go. Nice,
Hit,
Brian.
Brian.
So that makes the Mario ticket, acceptable, right? Because I was playing with a 20-1 shot out there. So, if you do that with the 4 chalks, then you're kind of silly.
Well, yeah, and like that's the thing is that like whenever I'm looking at a ticket, like what I've started to do lately is if I see myself, I'm 3 wide, but it's literally like the 2-1 favorite, the 5-2 second choice, and the 7-2 third choice. It's like really I'm tripling the cost of my ticket, and I'm not going to get that back in expected value off that leg. Even just cutting one of those horses, probably leaves your value at about the same, but saves you a third of the cost. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of art into figuring out which of the 2 horses seems like the ones to cut, but I feel like sometimes like you got to kind of put yourself in that place where you're gonna have to make a hard decision. But let's move on over here to Tampa. So toss the PP back up here. Got Tampa Bay Downs. Got the Grade 2 Tampa Bay Derby. Reigning champion King Guillermo unfortunately got a little sidetracked with COVID last year, and we got another Avila horse in here, right? The King of Dreams, Sammy Camacho up.
King of Dreams. If you like the King Guillermo story, here's King Guillermo 2.0. Same jock, same trainer, same setup of not running the greatest first time over dirt, while really kind of having a dirty pedigree or a more dirt pedigree than breaks his maiden over turf, and wheels back in the Tampa Bay Derby. This is the exact same setup as King Guillermo. King Guillermo did have a turf stakes in there before coming back, so a little dirtier for him. But I think King of Dreams in here is kind of interesting. I think we've talked about this in the past. Horses at Tampa, you have a lot of these horses that the local horses tend to do well. Horses with wins across the surface tend to do well, or races across the surface tend to do well. And this is definitely one that fits into the picture. But I mean, I think before you really get to going after 20-1 bombs, you really have to make a binary decision about how you feel about Candyman Rocket, because the 3-horse. If he. I know it's sort of an interesting race because both Briz and BSL, I mean, Briz obviously showed it where that last race, the Sam F, was a little bit slower. And Bayer has it about identical, but I know Timeform has that race a ton faster. So what I'm assuming is they have a pace consideration where they were probably flying home they were coming home a little faster late, and Timeform flattered that. But I guess it begins and ends with what you feel about Candyman Rocket. If you feel he's the real deal, which I kind of tend to in here, I think he's going to be mighty tough to beat. Now, who finishes second, third, fourth? I think this is a vertical player's dream kind of race. And if you don't love Candyman Rocket, there's a ton of prices in here that make a lot of sense. But let some other guys speak to that. I've talked too much.
Well, I was going to say, when I think Tampa Bay Downs, I think Mark Capitan. So, Chase, what do you got?
I'm with Candyman Rocket. It's something that Mark and I brought up on multiple streams. Just kind of our how we feel about the Bill Mott barn this year and his 3-year-old crop. I think that I think he's going to have a great year on the Derby Trail and maybe make a splash in one of these Triple Crown races. Right now, Candyman Rocket looks like the premier horse, but we also haven't seen all of them yet. But I'm going to stick with Candyman Rocket. The only other horse that I might be looking at is trained by the almighty Dale Tar. All hail Dale Tar. Sitting on Go. The horse could get a setup. It's weird to think of horses that can close at Tampa Bay because, well, typically when you watch a race at Tampa Bay, they're not this kind of classy of a horse, and you just see them, you have one horse who's struggling to get to the line, and then everyone else behind them who look like they're on death's door. So it kind of the optics doesn't really fit. But I think the pace setup is there. The horse won the Iroquois last year on Kentucky Derby weekend, and then it hadn't really done much yet. But training well, and I think finally gets the setup it needs. So it's one that I'll consider for a win bet, but or an underneath with Candyman Rocket.
Brian, Caleb? I don't have a whole lot interesting to add to this race. I hate Tampa Bay. I hate the Tampa Bay Derby. The horse I landed on, I'm going back to the well, and I think it's going to be the Wise Guy horse from what I've seen on Twitter, which is Hidden Stash. I liked this horse last time out in the Sam F. Davis, and the horse got a nice trip, but the horse still seems a little bit of a head case. The horse wouldn't change leads, actually ran the entire stretch drive on his wrong lead. He was kind of green, lugging in a little bit once he got into the stretch. But once he finally got set down and cleared the kickback, even on the wrong lead, he was swallowing some ground late. I didn't think the Candyman Rocket wanted to go a mile and a 16th, and he proved me wrong. I'm still not convinced this horse wants to go a mile and an eighth, and I definitely don't think this horse wants to go a mile and a quarter. So I'm going to be against this horse pretty much every time. The horse was getting pretty short striding late in that Sam F. Davis. I mean, it's a nice horse for sure and very well could win. It's more of a play against at the price and the distance pedigree than anything else. But I'm going to play most of it. If I play anything, which I likely won't, but I guess I do like Hidden Stash the best here. It's just anyone else here just seems so cheap or so slow. I have a hard time making the case for anybody else. I mean, Sitting on Go had that one big race and then had 3 no-shows in a row. I'm kind of done giving him chances. And then after that, you're kind of counting on a maiden breaker to jump up and run a big race, which happened last year and could happen again. But I can't make a case for any one of them versus the others. So I'll be on Hidden Stash the most here and probably not spreading very much.
Well, what do you think of Bejarano coming into town to ride Hidden Stash? I kind of thought that was a little interesting. I mean, obviously he's gonna be the wise guy horse. You'll probably get maybe morning line on him, but
what is morning line? I don't have prices.
It's 4-1 is what they have him as.
I think he'll get
too short for me, but
yeah, I mean, I think that's about right. He's probably going to be your second or maybe third pick, depending on what the Pletcher horse does. I have no interest in that Pletcher horse at all, but I do think he takes money. I love the fact Bejarano comes in. He was on board for both wins. He clearly gets this horse. Vicky Oliver's 0 for 50 in graded stakes. So that you got to kind of accept that if you're going to bet this horse at 4-1. But yeah, I mean, I do like the fact Bejarano comes in to answer your question.
Brian, what you got?
Well, I was going to talk about the 8, but Caleb kind of stole the thunder there. I thought Hidden Stash was going to be an interesting pick. Only because I thought Caleb was going to go elsewhere. So now I'm going to go elsewhere. I'm going to go to the horse Caleb says he hates. And let's take Luis Shipping in for the top Pletcher horse on the 11. My buddy Josh tells me class doesn't matter, and this horse is moving up in class.
It's true.
Broke maiden last out. If you look at, I'm looking at Briss right now. The numbers make sense. The horse fits with where we're at, and that was on a sloppy surface last out at Gulfstream Park. So we get a fast surface here at Tampa. This horse may impress. Let's be honest. Pletcher's going to be short, though. You can't really single this horse and expect to have any value. I won't be able to win bet it because Pletcher's and Luis is going to drive the value down. If I was going to look for a value type play, maybe I start looking, just to throw something out there. I start looking at like Boca Boy, the 5. Probably gonna be 20-1. I don't know what the morning line is.
15-1.
Yeah, 15-1. On debut the horse looked okay sprinting, came back, 3 races later and went wire to wire at Gulfstream Park at a 1.16 on sloppy. But that's the kind of horse that could go to Tampa and actually run there and actually enjoy it. Tampa's a weird track. We saw last year the horse that looked good at Tampa couldn't look good anywhere else.
Well, Florida's a weird state. Let's not just keep our weird just at the city of Tampa and its racetrack.
It's different, right? So I have a hard time putting I had a hard time putting weight on the Aqueduct race just because of what New York racing's been for 3-year-olds. And then the Tampa race has lost a lot of, mojo for me, seeing what King Guillermo did last year, just dominated. And then it was like, wah, wah, wah. So, it'll be interesting.
If the horses had any talent, then they would be running in the Holy Bull, the Fountain of Youth, the Florida Derby, instead of shipping to the west coast of Florida. Like this is obviously the B tier of these people's barns and the A tier of some of these trainers. But like your Pletchers, your Motts, your these other guys. I agree with Brian on that.
It's like you look at Awesome Jerry. Awesome Jerry's been there, right? The Mucho Macho Man, the Holy Bull, running probably above its level. And now Safi's like, okay, let's take blinkers off because maybe that's going to figure it out. It just feels like a desperation move for a horse like that. It's probably going to end up taking money just because he's been in a couple of races people have heard of before.
Although, in fairness to Awesome Jerry, I mean, if you look back, Mutasabek is wasn't that like Pletcher's A horse coming into this year? And then Papatoo didn't Papatoo just run a good race last week?
He ran second. Yeah, we call it a great race, but he ran second.
But you're also counting on Hector Diaz Jr. to give the same ride as the Gulfstream Park King Irad Ortiz.
I mean, Hector Diaz Jr. is hitting at 18% at Tampa. But yeah, like you're right. I mean,
18% means that 18% of your horses actually didn't die before they reached the finish line.
I mean, 18% at Tampa would have him as like a 4% jockey at Gulfstream Park, right?
Basically, yeah.
So I mean, you have to consider that with them, with the who's shipping in to ride this race, the jockeys coming in from out of town, the big talent. I don't see Awesome Jerry really having much of a shot here, despite the fact they're going to take a lot of money.
Jared keeps on mentioning this, so I figured I got to bring this up here. He's saying that the 1 to 4 gates are winning at 34% at Tampa.
Yeah,
and
but that's very field size driven.
Yeah. Now, Mark, I did want to ask you. I don't know if you got the shapes pulled up. If you got optics pulled up, you don't.
No, I don't have them up.
Okay, I'll give you a second to pull it up. One thing that I know we've kind of noticed, it seems like pace. I think it might just be that Tampa plays very fair. So I think that something like optics, the pace plays tend to be much better. So I'm kind of curious what the squares and shapes say on this. I kind of landed on a bomb in this race, and that's the other Pletcher, the 9 horse here, Unbridled Honor. I think you're getting a little bit. This horse I think is going to be fine going a little bit longer. So, did break its maiden going a mile on this track. You got Julian Leperoux shipping in. So I know this horse is going to be nowhere near this hot pace. I mean, this horse might be 20 lengths back at the start. Who knows? But I feel like, once again, like with a lot of these Derby preps, I think you're going to get a lot of speed here. And, you have some more aggressive jocks here at Tampa. So I feel like you're going to get a much more honest pace. So I think this is going to set up for a horse like the 8 Hidden Stash, or like I said, even the 9 Unbridled Honor. Unbridled Honor looks like he's been working out very well the past couple times, and you get a nice jock to run style matchup here with Julian hopping on this dead closer. So I'm interested. I mean, it's 20 to 1 on the morning line right now. I don't know what you're going to get. I'm guessing you're going to get a little bit less just because it's Pletcher. But at double digits, I'll take a shot with this 9 on what I think will probably be a big old square in Q4. What am I looking at?
Optics has your 9 being way, 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 way too slow. The horses that Optics most likes would be probably Promise Keeper, the 11, and definitely Promise Keeper, the 11 seems to be the horse that can be forwardly placed, and is the most sort of Tampa-y Optics horse. The other 2 would be Hidden Stash and Sit on Go.
I can't believe you said Julian on a closer, and you like that one, Josh. That surprises me because this is a big field, on Thursday afternoon. To be able to say Julian on a closer is not going to find traffic trouble, I'd be a little scared.
Hey, Jared, I will make a comment to what Jared sort of said. He's talking about, A, posts 1 through 4, and B, these early speed presser types that have been doing well. He's right on both accords, but there's also not a lot of high quality racing there. So you're talking horses that don't like to pass other horses, and that's why they're in they're a horse that's got 30 starts and is trying to get their 3rd, career victory kind of a thing. And you're talking, cheaper horses. So these higher level races, a lot of times the bias factors like that don't really fit well, especially when a really classy race at Tampa might be a $20,000 allowance. They don't have a lot of these sort of graded stakes types. So and also with small field sizes, you're going to have a preference for the inside post. So you have to actually take and offset that for distance and for number of total starts where there's a horse in that post. Just so it's one of those things where stats can be deceiving.
Hey, Mark, you mentioned that's their big day. What do you put about the track being juiced up, right? It's their big day. A lot of tracks will do it. So if you're going to play this card in this race, what are you looking at if they're going to juice the track up? Are you looking for the horse that can get loose? Are you looking for somebody that's going to stay close to the pace? And this is a question for everybody because it's a good one because tracks change their bias in their big days. They want to get that record. They want to have some kind of news. They want something, right?
They want that big figure to come out of their race. I mean, it tends to be with me when I look for when I'm thinking juice tracks. Normally, they're not running the harrows as deep as they would be normally. They're not harrowing as much, and so that makes a firmer surface, and therefore speed carries better. So I tend to like speed for horses and more forwardly placed horses. They're going to tend to be better on those big days.
To me, the juice track Speed, yes, but also I feel like the rail plays a lot more prominently into it because I think a lot of times a speed bias and a rail bias kind of go hand in hand. But I think that you'll find that that rail is going to be a little bit more scraped down, thin, easy to run on, kind of a conveyor belt sort of thing. And so I'm looking for the horse that can break to the front and win the race to the rail. If it's not the horse that can break the front and win the race to the rail, it's the horse that's getting the pocket trip on the rail behind the early speed, but very forwardly placed. Sorry to interrupt, Mark.
No, man. I respect that quite a bit. Yeah, and that makes makes a lot of sense.
Then I'm definitely gonna play an exact with my 5 and 11 then, just because you just made my case for me.
No. I mean, honestly, on your juice track and on your optics for what normally works at Tampa, your 11 makes sense on both. So, and that was a horse that I did like quite a bit there.
And Caleb didn't like it, so we should probably double down.
Exactly,
Yeah,
double
I
down,
don't
triple
like
down,
those
maybe.
all.
Yeah,
It would
I
probably
will
put
say that it's
Candyman
important.
Rocket sitting that pocket trip. It looks
Yeah.
like kind of being able to tuck over.
Yeah. The only thing I'd point out is that it's important to make a distinction between a juice track and a bias track, because oftentimes, the track maintenance crew want to see fast final time figures. So the track will be very fast. It doesn't inherently mean that it's speed biased or that you can't close or that it's a golden rail or anything else. It just means the track is playing faster. You see it a lot at Aqueduct where during the week, the track will be 25-50 for the opening quarter and half mile. And then on the weekend, it'll be 23-47. And the speed figures don't come back, that much faster. It's just that they sped the track up. It doesn't make it inherently biased to speed. It just means that it's easier to go quick, not necessarily that speed is going to carry them better.
All right, looks like we got a couple minutes here before Turfway. I punched a quick little double here, and this is gonna be my last play here, with the 1 and the 7 here, doubling into the 4, 9, and 11. The 1 and the 7 look to be good off the pace types here, so I'm gonna kind of just play that closer angle and hope that we can get one of these off the pace types home. The 7 has got Corrales aboard for some no-name trainer that I'm not real familiar with, and that always makes me go So Corrales has been absolutely on fire. This horse has won once at Turfway already last year, so I know it's a different surface, but it seems like this horse wants synthetic, so I'm going to go with the 7 as my top pick here.
I threw something in too, Josh. I'm going to play an exacta with the 6 on top and then 179 underneath. I like the 7 for the same reason. The one good race he had was at Turfway. Corrales gets up. That horse is pretty interesting if he's fit off the long layoff. I kind of think the 6 is my pick here. Also coming off the long layoff, but horse has been keeping good company. Has speed. Has a win at 5.5 already, albeit on turf. So I'm going to go with the 6 here over the 1, 7, and 9.
Someone told me that physically bulky, large horses have done really well at Turfway. I know that was a couple weeks ago that I heard, so I don't know if it stands the test, but it looked like the 9 was a pretty good size horse. I thought the pace kind of worked out with the 9, so I'm playing a double with the 9 into the 3, 9, 11 in the finale, and then trying to hit an exact 9 over 1, who I think is going to be moving late, hopefully not up the rail, and the 8 Papa Chalk.
Yep. So it looks like Elliot like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 super box. Papa Chalk. Why does that horse sound familiar?
That horse has been around.
He was running at Saratoga. That's why.
I like Elliot's idea. I think boxing the outside horses here sounds good.
That's old school Turfway right there.
Yeah, it is. That's like 2017 Turfway strats. There's been so few 5.5 furlong Turfway sprints. I'm not really sure. Like as a rule of thumb, I prefer outside stalkers closers at Turfway, but I don't know. 5.5 is so short. I just don't know how it's going to play. So I'm treading kind of light here.
If I was going to quote somebody, the 6, 8, 9, and 10 have all the bells and whistles. So
To give a hint as to who it is, how's a boot that?
North of the border. How about the Maple Leafs?
Oh, there you go. So I want to go back to I know we got a couple minutes here before this kicks off, but I want to go back to something Stephen Fox said earlier today. He said end the stream, but I figure we'll toss it in here in the middle before we go to Santa Anita. He said, can we get your guys' top 3 Derby picks if you have any, or at least ones you're interested in going forward?
Country House.
You son of a bitch. I know we were talking about this a little bit beforehand. I do like Greatest Honor still. I know the figures have been slow, but I don't know. I feel like that horse is going to get better as we stretch out a little bit more. I'm actually really interested to see what he is in future pools now. He's probably like hammered, but I haven't looked at any future pools as of late. I do like the other horse I really like is another horse. We didn't talk about him yet. Oh man, what am I looking at? Someone else jump in because I'm like second guessing if I'm thinking of the right horse.
Well, you keep scrolling. I'll jump in. I've liked Essential Quality from the debut. You go all the way back to Essential Quality's debut. Horse showed a lot of grit, a lot of heart. Fought against the track and had a great outing. That being said, this Saturday, the Kentucky Derby winner is running, and that is the Great One.
Oh, okay.
Who is that? I don't even know who that horse is.
That's because he's the Great One.
The Doug O'Neill horse.
Doug O'Neill horse out west goes against Life is Good. We'll talk about that one here in a little bit, I think, right, Josh? But
yep.
The horse, I've been watching the horse work out on XB TV, and the workouts are phenomenal, a lot better than the running line suggests. So I think that horse is still like 15-1 in the future pools, and that's my price shot. We'll see what happens this weekend, obviously, but
I hate taking Derby picks this early. I really need to see some more preps, and it's so hard this early. But if you made me kind of pie in the sky, throw a couple out there. The Pletcher horse, I think Mutage, or Mutabak, I can't remember. It's
Mutabak or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, that horse I thought was very impressive last out. And the other one, quite honestly, last weekend I was pretty damn impressed with Greatest Honor. I think he looked the part of Derby winner. That's what you want to see, and that was some pretty damn explosive turn of foot in the lane. So I thought that one was also pretty impressive. And third, I don't really have anybody that I can put up there. I need to watch a few more races.
Yeah, I feel like really gross saying this, but I'd probably have to, if I was making a top 10 list right now, I think the top 6 would all be trained by either Baffert or Brad Cox. It's crazy how deep I would have to go to get a horse not trained by one of them. Whether it's Life is Good, Medina Spirit, Concert Tour, Essential Quality, Mandaloon, the other Cox horse I'm forgetting. It's crazy. I don't really know which of them I like the best. So I will say the horse I'm interested in that's a little bit of not in the limelight right now is actually also running this Saturday, and he'll be the one that beats Brian's pick with Dream Shake. This horse ran a huge maiden race, was not supposed to run that good, and just annihilated a pretty decent maiden field at Santa Anita. The fit came back fast, very fast actually, which is my biggest knock against Greatest Honor. So I think that Dream Shake is the one who's going to have to prove that wasn't a fluke effort, but trying to think outside the box a little bit. That's the one who's caught my eye.
I agree that you have a hard time picking a horse not trained by Brad Cox. As always, fuck Bob Baffert, that silver-haired fuck. And then I'm going to say that my 2 favorites, one I'm really, really want to see run back again and see if it's got, can handle a little bit more distance is Caddo River. I want to see, I feel like it's got the early running style. It's a big, lanky, long-legged horse that really looks, visually impressive. Mandaloon, after a crappy Lecomte at the fairgrounds, ran back really well in the Risen Star. I think that horse might have a chance. I'm not. I'm going to say not. what was it? Essential Quality, the other one that won this weekend at Oaklawn, because I don't think that the running style works. So I feel like that horse wants to come from pretty far back, and that's just not the winning Kentucky Derby style. And then my third, I'm going to say a Bill Mott horse to be named later. Whatever Bill Mott horse emerges into the Derby shakeup, I just think he's got a great 3-year-old crop this year, and so I'm going to say he gets a legit one instead of a country house style one.
Yeah, I mean, I did like the other Baffert horse concert tour. I thought there was somebody else I was thinking of, but yeah, I'm probably like if I had to pick right now, I'd probably go just Greatest Honor. But
Looks like they're loading at Turfway.
Loading in here.
So I got the 6 on top of an exacta. What'd you guys have again?
I got the 1 and the 7 doubling into the next race.
I've got 9 over 1/8 and an exacta, and then I'm doubling 9 to the 3-9-11 in the next race.
Yeah, I couldn't decide what to do with the 8 here. It's a Bernardini horse, and I don't know if Bernardini on synthetic is the same thing as Bernardini on turf, but at 2 to 1.
Bernardinis are great on everything.
I said fuck it, 2 to 1.
Don't let the Murphy Run media fool you.
I'm following Elliot. We're taking the outside horses here, and then we're live in the pick 3. So we'll see what happens.
Best of luck.
Yeah, just leave it to me. I'm going to ruin this 18 to 1 and crap out this leg.
Who you got here, Brian?
The 8 and the 9.
Well, you
So
got
you're
the
saying
watch.
you're going to have the 18 to 1 and make the minimum out of it? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's true.
Well, I'll probably get an
I'm good
alternate.
at that.
The 10's going to win here. It's going to be an alternate winner.
Lucky for me, the minimum was a couple $100 last week. So, oh, dude, who's this horse on the outside? Looks absolutely loaded. Is that the 9?
I think it's the kid in the red cap.
Or is it a 10?
10. That's the 10.
6 looks like he has
The
absolutely.
10 was one that scared me here.
Okay, 1, 7 look okay, but 10 looks like he's.
I think 10's gone here, boys.
I think this one is going to get up and get him up the rail. Or the 8.
Anybody's
Here
race.
comes the
8's got some run.
Can the Bernardini get there just to prove Caleb?
You can't bet. You can't be betting these Bernardinis. I'm telling you.
There's the 10. 10, 8, 1.
So knocked out of the pick 3, get the exacta there.
Oh, it's got to be a nice
Yeah.
exacta. That 10 was the price, right?
I had no expectations of picking any sort of winners or cashing any sort of tickets at Turfway because it's been fucking impossible all year. So I'm not. I'm out of everything again.
You know, the
Yeah.
probables are saying that's a $68 exacta, so that covers the pick 3.
There we go.
There you go. Mr. Shampows thinks that Brooklyn Strong stays slept on.
That's a very like Naira Homer pick, but I do like
That
it.
is,
I do like it. He beat I don't remember in some listed stakes like in December, and I had him that day. I was pretty happy about it, and he looked good doing it. But you know, I don't know where he's been lately. That's the big question.
All right, let's move on over to Santa Anita here. Race 6.
Real quick, if anyone is wondering, it's 12 minutes to post at the second of Golden Gate Fields.
Are they actually running?
No, it still shows it. I can't believe that it hasn't been like scratched on ADWs yet.
All I know is by now the morning drugs have worn off, so I don't know how to play that place now.
Let's take a look here. Santa Anita, we got the Grade 2 San Felipe. You got Baffert's got a couple horses in here. Life is Good. Some people think is he probably the favorite in the.
He's
Derby
been the
Futures?
favorite in the
I think
futures
the
pools.
horse was the
Yeah.
favorite in the Derby pools before the horse had run a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the fourth pool, the futures pool, Essential Quality was 4 to 1. Life is Good was 8 to 1. That was one I thought I saw 2 days ago. Just closed out.
Well, Life is Good is 4 to 5 here with Mike Smith aboard, drawing the rail. You know, going to be showing speed. I think there's a lot of speed in this race. Caleb, I know you talked about this horse a little bit earlier. My pick in this race is the 2 Dream Shake. I think this is going to set up for a Rosarioing of epic proportions. Now, my concern is, this breeding, at least to me, kind of screams turf sprint. So I'm kind of, wondering. I don't know. Twirling Candy trying to get a mile and a 16th, but Candy Ride seemed to be all right getting distance. So maybe not too big of a concern, but I don't know. On the bottom, there's definitely a little bit of distance. So. But yeah, I think Dream Shake's going to sit a nice trip here. You get Rosario aboard, going to be coming off the pace. I know that's like completely against everything that Santa Anita Racing has stood for the past couple weeks. But I think that this is going to set up nicely. If there's going to be a race that Life is Good loses, I think it's going to be this one. Because I just think that there's going to be a bit of pace pressure here, and I think it's going to set up nicely for our 2 Dream Shake here. Chase, what do you think? Oh, Chase is muted.
It's the best he sound all day.
Sorry, I had a kid screaming behind me. What's the race number?
It's race 6. Race 6. Yep.
Okay, pass. Come back to me.
Okay, Caleb.
All right. This is a super interesting race. So I'm pretty excited for it. I've already talked about Dream Shake. I like this horse. Don't know that I really think this horse gets a mile and a quarter easily, but I think it gets a mile and a 16th. So I'm excited for this horse. My big question here is I'm having like flashbacks to the Breeders' Cup Classic of last year, where you look at it on paper and it's like, oh, there's like a lot of speed in here. Like Tom's D'Etat should run a big race or whoever else. And then, you forget to realize that pretty much all the speed is controlled by Baffert, and he's not going to send his horses against each other. And I'm a little afraid the same situation could set up here. Medina Spirit and Life is Good are both speed horses. Life is Good is probably the one that needs the lead more, especially with the rail draw. I think that horse is going to get sent. Medina Spirit probably sits off, similar to how he did in the Sham. And then I don't really know what you do with, I'm tossing them, but a horse like the Great One or None Above the Law. At some point they've showed a little bit of speed here and there, but I don't think either of them can really go with Life is Good. So I think the question really is, for me, is Life is Good legit enough that he just crushes this field, or do you take a shot against? So at 4 to 5, I'll probably take a shot against him, also recognizing that he's by far the likeliest winner in here. But it did bug me a little bit when he coughed up a 4-length lead from the stretch to the wire last time out at 1 to 5. And I don't know if he was getting tired or maybe he was just so far in front that the horse stopped paying attention and kind of got bored. But it also kind of gave me some flashbacks of Authentic in the Haskell, where the horse nearly got nailed. I thought he had distance limitations, and then he shows up and wins the Classic and the Kentucky Derby. So
I proceeded to lose a ton of money on New York Traffic every single race that New York Traffic ran after that, based off of that race.
So I think Life is Good is definitely the horse to beat and deserving favorite, but I think Dream Shake is the most interesting character as the challenger. And I wouldn't sleep on Medina Spirit. I don't want to say sleep on it because it's a Baffert horse. It's not going to get slept on. But this is an other Baffert horse that I think ran a really strong race in the RB Lewis, and think that could be a little sharper than Life is Good, given the layoff and everything else to consider.
I think, especially when it comes to Santa Anita prep races and when it comes to that silver-haired fuck Bob Baffert, you have to start taking Derby math into consideration. Right now, Medina Spirit has a lead over Life is Good in the Derby math. You got to think Life is Good is kind of like a preferred horse for Bob. So I think that Life is Good is probably the more well-meant horse and the one that Bob wants to win. I think he probably tells whoever's on Medina Spirit, run your race. If he wins, he wins. Don't push him too terribly hard, because if you finish in the money, you're still adding to that Derby points total, and it's just helping the Derby math. So Life is Good has a really good chance. I really am interested in Roman Centurion. Roman Centurion, I think, is the horse that I want to bet here, because there's not going to be any value in betting the Bob Baffert horses. I was really impressed with Roman Centurion and the way that it finished in the Robert B. Lewis, and it has a lot to do with the way that it actually kind of closed. Sans whip, and really made it a race. picked up a lot of ground. I mean, came from really far off the pace. I think Roman Centurion is a really talented racehorse that people are overlooking because of Bob's pricey entries. So for me, I'm going to say Life is Good is your most likely. As a gambler, I want the most of Roman Centurion. Either on top in an exacta bet to win, roll some doubles through it, and then probably still come back through and play stronger bets with Life is Good keyed on top.
I just want to clarify, right? You said Roman Centurion, not Roman Centaur, right?
Yes, I'm not talking about the mythical half man, half horse beast.
I'm just making sure. I'm making sure this wasn't a Dale Tar reference that was just like real deep.
No, you're just dumb. Centurions and centaurs are different things.
Yeah,
it's fair. Actually, I take it back. You're not dumb. It's fair. I make a lot of Dale Tar references. All hail Dale Tar. Blessed be his bride of Dale Tar. Huzzah! Huzzah!
Hussa.
No, I'm shocked that Chase and I somehow both landed on the same horse here. I think
all the time. Why?
Yeah, you should not be shocked.
Okay, maybe don't be shocked, but
there's like a 7-horse field. Like there's not that many horses.
Hey, Mark and Chase are on the Baffert. Let's be surprised here. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, I think both of the Bafferts are logical. You're going to get no value betting either one of them, and I think as Murphy said in chat, you can kind of coin flip the two of them. I think they're probably equally likely winners, and probably I don't know. I don't think there's a huge difference between Life is Good and Medina Spirit. I think there's a lot of pace in this race. I think Juan is going to be on Roman Centurion again. Simon Callahan, somebody who does not rush his horses into, he's a little maybe Bill Motti styled, and the fact that he sort of rounds them into form, races them into form. His horses have improved every start, and Juan stays here. He's been as good as anybody has been on the dirt at Santa Anita this year, and he's going to be able to sit there and have the whole race develop in front of him, and he's going to get a really, I think, legit setup here. We'll see if he's good enough, but pedigree says he should stretch out really well, and I'm definitely going to get paid for having an opinion and trying to beat the Bafferts, so I will put him as my as my top selection. And I do agree. I think Brian said Dream Shake as well. I think Dream Shake makes a lot of sense here, or did Josh say Dream Shake? I can't remember which one. But I think Dream Shake also makes a lot of sense here. Another horse, but again, I sort of don't love Maiden Breaker's Last Out right back, so I would put Roman Centurion in front of Dream Shake for that reason.
All right, so I don't understand how nobody else is on the Great One, and here's why. Right, horse runs triple digit on Briss the last 2 outings. The horse went wire to wire on turf as a 2-year-old. Comes back as a 3-year-old, showed it could sit off the pace a little bit, and then took the lead at the call. If you were handicapping this race with a lot of pace, you're thinking that both Medina Spirit and Life is Good are going to be front runners. Now, there's no way Baffert's going to have 2 horses burn each other out. Mike Smith's not that, Mike Smith and John Velasquez both know how to run a race. But with that much pace up front and the Great One making that race back in January, sitting off for the first half mile, I'm curious to see what happens here. Abel stays aboard. I think the value is going to stay there. Let the 2 Bafferts go early. The Great One makes another step forward, I think, and surprises everybody. I know the horse is only won a maiden 61. I understand, but the numbers are there. So, granted, the horse did lose to Spielberg, and Spielberg was a little disappointing last weekend.
A little? You beat me to it.
A little?
You're talking 3 months ago. So 3 months for a 3-year-old horse is a ton of time. Spielberg didn't mature. The Great One, I believe, did. Doug O'Neill has had this horse ready to go, and we'll see what happens on Saturday.
What price are you getting on him? I'm just curious.
I don't have morning lines in front of me. What's the morning line?
4-1.
4-1.
I think you get every bit of that
Oh, sweet
because
Lord. I would need literally 30 to 1 to look at that horse, but God bless you.
I
if you
wouldn't
wanna
need
go
30
there.
to 1, but I would need 10 to 1
Like,
to look at
I'll
the
be
horse.
honest with you. Like if this line is anywhere near what it is, I mean, I'm maybe betting Medina Spirit with both hands because they have Medina Spirit at 7-2.
there's no way you get 7-2.
I know
And
there
we're-
isn't, but if there was, both hands.
I
Let's
mean,
be honest
Roman
with you.
Centurion 8-1 morning line. Yes, please.
You're probably going to get 20 to 1 on Roman Centurion.
Yeah.
quite honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, the horse that if you don't think you get 7-2 on Medina Spirit, you're not going to get 20 to 1 on the horse you beat by a neck.
Johnny V and Mikey Smith are going to take all the money. I mean, I think everybody else you can make an
I mean,
argument for.
everyone's going to be an overlay because Life is Good is going to be 1-2 or 3-5 or something just insane.
I think 20 to 1 it might be a little bit wishful, but I mean you definitely get double digit. Yeah, you definitely get double digit odds on Roman Centurion, I think. Because there's going to be so much money in the win pool between Life is Good and Medina Spirit.
So apparently, Road Warrior agrees with Mr. BD horse player. I don't know on what because this is from a while ago, but he agrees with you. So I'm just going to assume on all of it, Brian.
No, we were talking about Triple Crown aside. Which race right this weekend has the horse that has the best outcome, right? So I had said probably the Gotham because the California race, the Baffords are all going to retire when they're 3 years old because that's what Baffert does. The Gotham will have the best 4-year-old horse. And that's
the best 4-year-old horse is probably in the big cab.
Now he's saying regardless of
Like
the
best
horses that
career.
are on the Derby Trail, regardless of how they do on this year's Triple Crown Trail, who is the horse that's going to have the best long-term career even past his 3-year-old season? I think
correct.
I would 100% agree with Brian, Mr. Back class there because Bob's got the deals with these breeders that as soon as these guys win, like he's going to go ahead and get them into the breeding shed. I would think more than likely it would be a horse out of the Gotham. I'm gonna agree with that, and the reason being, it seems like these New York horses like almost like mature into like handicap class, or handicap division horses pretty well. I can think of like Vino Rosso. You can think of horses like Tacitus, like Tax, like that. Even though Tacitus doesn't win a whole lot, they seem to be brought along a lot better. What the hell is going on here? They seem to be brought along a lot better, and they seem to stick around a lot longer. So I'm going to say maybe like a horse like Capo Cane or Wipe the Slate, or maybe even, who knows, maybe Chad's horse. Chad finally has a good dirt horse with Highly Motivated.
Hey, let me ask you this question. As far as running horses in like the 4-year-old year, it does seem like Klarovich stables are a little bit more risk averse. Or a little bit. That's the wrong term. Damn it. They seem like they don't mind putting their horse out there a little bit, right? The other
I think they just trust Chad. Like if Chad's like, no, this horse needs 9 months, they're like, okay, whatever. Whereas a lot of other owners, I feel like, are just like, no, we want to run the horse.
You don't have the same like soft tissue and regular soft tissue injuries out of Chad horses.
And also, Seth Klarovich is a multiple billionaire, so I don't really think the money matters to him, and he also doesn't really run a huge breeding operation. So I think for him, he'd rather see his horses on the track. He'd rather go watch them run than necessarily try to turn it into a revenue-generating business. He doesn't care. He's a little bit like Micropole in that way. Micropole tends to run his horses because he likes to go to the track and watch them run.
So here's the thing. I think all you guys are wrong about the 4-year-old horse, because what's going to end up happening is the horse that's going to have the best 4-year-old campaign is going to be the first Baffert that gets taken off the Triple Crown train due to a soft tissue injury and runs back when he's 4.
Runs back.
Yeah.
That's a decent angle, but does it keep running after?
Oh, but you know what? It could be the horse that's in New York. You're right.
Wait a
You
minute.
might have a good sprinter there in New York. That might be a good 4-year-old sprinter.
Who did you call, Josh? I missed it.
The first Baffert horse that gets taken off the Triple Crown train due to soft.
Would be who?
I don't know, but you know what? I think Caleb made a good point that the Baffert horse in the Gotham is probably a sprinter. So you tend to see sprinters stick around a little bit longer, so that might be it.
I mean, I think it's hard for me to pick a Derby horse right now. Like asking me who the best 4-year-old is going to be, I have no fucking idea because that's not going to be the best 3-year-old because they're going to retire. So, okay. I mean, I don't know. Whoever probably goes to the Derby with high expectations, runs like shit, disappears for the rest of the 3-year-old season, and then comes back a la By My Standards or whoever else or Knicks Go. Like it's probably going to be someone like that, but I have no idea who that's going to be.
I'm gonna play the contrarian game here and say the Tampa Bay race, just in the fact that largest field size of any of them all, and you have the fact that there's a chance that no one out of the Gotham or out of San Felipe comes back, and somebody comes out and whatever $25,000 claimer for the next 5 years out of the Tampa race.
Let's hope Service gets the Juan
Tampa
Carlos
that much. He loves Tampa so much,
right? What are you gonna do?
I think he would have learned after last year with King Guillermo.
We're gonna see the Tampa to Asanova shipper angle for Mark this
year, known as the Tam-ass play.
Right.
So Elliot's got a comment here. He says Juan is the best rider in SA. What do you think? You think he's the best one going right now?
I think it depends on surface. On dirt, yes. On turf, no. And on mixed surface, no. But just dirt alone, yeah.
I mean, he's pretty good on turf, though. I think he's better. He's better on turf than Rispoli is on dirt.
Okay, and
if you're gonna compare the best turf rider in SA versus the best dirt rider,
hey, probably Pratt's best all around.
Pratt's best all around. Rispoli is your turf ace, and Juan is your dirt.
I forgot about Pratt.
Exactly.
Since you're gonna go there real quick, with Drayden announcing he's taking his tack to Kentucky next month, does Juan replace Drayden as the number 2 jock out west?
Drayden hasn't been the number 2 jock out west in like 2 years.
Well, depends who you ask.
It's Pratt. It's literally Pratt, Juan, and Rispoli, and that's it.
Yeah, Cedillo was good, I think, last year or a year and a half ago, but he's kind of fallen. He's still fine, but he's kind of a cut below now. I think Juan took a lot of his mounts. But yeah, Drayden, I mean, he'll do better in Kentucky, I think, if he can build some relationships. Once he got in Baffert's doghouse, his days in California were kind of numbered.
His agent brought up a great point that the fields are so short, usually at Santa Anita, that there's just really not all that many opportunities to get mounts, yes, but to get quality mounts, not really.
That's right, yeah.
Well, hey, let me ask you this question. If he doesn't get fined for the whip, do you still think he moves to Kentucky? I think he sees the writing on the wall, and he's being proactive. He's like, let me move now and establish relationships before everybody else does.
Isn't that what Bejarano tried to do?
And he's done it. Talamo and Bejarano have come into the Midwest, and they've done well.
I mean, but here's the thing about Talamo, right? Talamo used to be Baffert's number 2 guy, and then he fell out of favor and he left. And I think kind of the same thing has happened to Drayden, right? He used to be Baffert's number 2 guy. He's fallen out of favor a little bit, and now he's leaving.
Well, what Drayden gave off, was that Authentic a bad ride last year? I forget which Baffert he gave a bad ride.
Drayden giving a bad ride. How much time you got?
But in all fairness, that West Coast philosophy, once he gets into Churchill Downs, he's probably going to win a riding championship.
Now, I don't know how much the whip rule has affected Mr. Rosario, but remember back, was it last year or 2 years ago, Rosario decided, hey, I'm gonna ride the winter in Santa Anita, and he won 30% out there. It was just nuts. Now he's only winning at 21% this year, and I don't know, like I said, how much that is the whip rule or just. It's hard to tell because sometimes you just look at the rides and you're like, it looks like nobody's trying, and so it's hard to tell if it's really bothering him. But I don't know. I think Drayden's going to do fine in Kentucky. Kentucky doesn't necessarily have the greatest jock colony. Of the 3, well, I guess what we have 4 major circuits, you would guess, right? You have Kentucky, you got kind of New York, you got Florida, and you got although Florida and New York are kind kind of the same. And then you got Kentucky. Kentucky's like by far the weakest, I think.
So I derailed it a little bit, but just we were talking about West Coast jockeys, and it seemed like a good time to talk about Drayden moving his tech, and I'm excited because being in the Midwest, I'm sure Mark doesn't care and Caleb don't care. They don't like Churchill Downs, so I understand. But I think Josh and I will, and even Chase will embrace the change and see a lot of DVD mounts.
I think it's a smart. I think that it's a smart move for him. I honestly, if I were a jockey, I would be getting the hell out of Santa Anita, unless you're like Rispoli or like Juan or like Pratt, and all you're getting is just live mounts pretty much all the time.
I mean, honestly, like if another European
was I done talking, Josh? Was I done? Can I finish?
Yeah. He wasn't done. He wasn't done. Shake and bake. He wasn't done.
I am done. Please continue.
I think if another European jock decides to ship in, and take his tack to Santa Anita, I think he would do good. I mean, honestly, like if you look at how they use the whip, overseas, it's definitely a lot more measured. So I think like who was the guy that came to Santa Anita like 3 years ago and like didn't do that great, but apparently he's just like this amazing jockey as Tenny or whatever, as Tenny.
Pat Day.
Not Pat Day.
Roger Atenzi or whatever it is.
Right. Mark, your European jocks. What's his name? Andrea Esteni or whatever. What the heck is his name?
Not a name I know.
I know who you're talking
Andrea
about.
Esteni,
I was muted, but yeah, you got it right.
Yeah.
I think the what's her name? The girl jockey who's getting all the publicity on Twitter.
Piper.
Which
no,
one?
no.
Pfeiffer or Ellingwood?
Oh, overseas. The other
Sophie Doyle.
The other
Sophie Doyle.
Holly Doyle.
Holly Doyle.
Sorry, wrong Doyle.
I think Holly Doyle's the next one to come over. She's got a great following. She's shown that she can handle turf, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Apparently, this jock talk has got a lot of chatter going here. So I'm going to scroll back up because we missed a bunch of stuff. Let's see. So Juan, best rider. Elliot also saying that Mike Smith lost the fastball a little bit.
He is 65 years old.
Yeah. Murphy thinks that you get 3-1 on Medina Spirit. So Murphy says it.
What's he know? He barely wins tournaments.
I think he's right. I think you get 5-2.
Let's see. Kind of stuff we already talked about. Juan knows how to work up big trips. Murphy once again saying that.
We got 3 minutes to Turfway.
Hey,
what do we got here, Turfway?
Would you bet Medina Spirit at 5-2 though, Caleb? Honestly, that's enough.
I mean, probably not. I don't really. I like him as much, if not more so, than Life is Good. Long term, and maybe even in this race. But I just like Dream Shake better. So like, no. But if you're asking me like in general, then yeah, I probably would. 5-2. I mean, you're probably never get that price on a horse again.
All right, you guys looking at Turfway here.
I wanted to play some shitty vertical bet here, and I ended up playing something stupid just to have something to watch. I played our trifecta. I think the outside's good, just given the last 2 races we saw, and I looked up a couple results earlier. It seems like the outside's hitting, so I played the 7 and 9 over 6, 7, 9, 11 in a trifecta.
Shout out to Keep Pounding, who needs the 9 or the 11 for a big daily double here. And all right, there's some argument going on in chat who the number 2 guy on the wrong lead is. Apparently, Keep Pounding says he used to be a number 2 guy, but now that John Massey's number 2. Now John Massey says that Keep Pounding's number 2. So who the fuck is number 1?
John Massey has a sexy username and a nickname. So isn't he? Isn't he number 1?
Wait, unless they mean that they're our number 2, like they're like our +1. Is that what they mean?
I mean, there was a point where Dennis would have been our number 1 in a heartbeat. But
all right, everyone, shut up.
Our boys left us.
2 winning vertical bets here at Turfway. Start with an exacta 6 over 3, 9, 11. I think just like all the speed scratch out of this, and I'm hoping that the 6 goes. And then a trifecta 3-6 over 3-6-11 over 3-4-6 9-11. So all in for $9.
I like it. Oh, Ratchet Rachel, number one.
And for
Ratchet
all
Rachel.
fairness, if we had a +1, our +1 would be Popeyes, Josh.
That is true. Popeyes has become a real close friend.
Maybe
to
we
all
can
of
get
us.
sponsored by Popeyes if Chase ever gets that Baconator deal on his own.
I just need to go broad and go for Yum brands in general, maybe. Even though I know Popeyes is not a Yum brand.
It's all good though, because Taco Bell is fantastic also.
Oh.
What do you call a combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and KFC? Because I call it a Colonel Salazar. Anyone else?
I call it high blood pressure heaven.
I've only met the Taco Hut Express, so
Wait, isn't Taco Bell having that chicken taco now?
they
It's a
are.
goddamn abomination.
It is. That's a shame.
Yeah.
I hate everything about it.
Man, this 3 is getting
Hey.
bet, and this 3 does not look like a good horse.
Mark looks confused. We're talking on Taco Bell. It's processed meat in a shell. It's tasty. Nothing. I hate you.
Do you,
Mark, so here's
Mark's
the thing
sitting
about,
do you even farm to table, bro? Do you even farm to table?
the
He's
thing
like
is
a-
that
net-
Mark's like splurge food is like getting sushi. Where like for us it's just like, I don't know, whatever cheap food we can find.
Like
I'm
an
actually
ice
just
cream
gonna play an
lover.
exact. I'm gonna play the 4. I'm gonna play the 4 over the 9 and the 11.
Hold on. If you don't highlight John Massey's comment, Josh, I'll never talk to you again.
Hold on, I'm looking at Turf. Which one? Oh, give him the White Castle. Yes. Yes.
What's
Now
up,
we're
Gary?
talking. Dude,
Where you at, Gary?
I said the other day that I got some chicken rings from White Castle, and Mark was like, "What is a chicken ring? Like, why
That's
are
exactly
chickens
what it
in ring
sounds
shape?"
like.
You know, a part of the chicken is a ring? The toe.
Toe rings.
Depends on how flexible.
Anyways,
the chicken-
Turfway's off, so we can stop talking about chicken toes.
Well, Stephen Fox is talking about Baconators now, so
Oh man. Well, Chase of 6 did
not break.
bleed.
Nope.
I kind of thought I thought the same thing, which is why I threw him in underneath in my try. But he's going to have to, work out
The
a trick.
3 is the other top. The top half of my trifecta is about 30 lengths off right now.
Like I
Monaco-
looked at this race and I'm like, oh, there's no speed. So I took the 2 horses I thought might be like sort of forward, and then this happened.
What in the
No,
world is going on?
I'm calling bullshit on Road Warrior because he gave Chase 2 shout-outs as 2 different Beatles, and I don't even get an honorable mention. So, hey, Road Warrior, kiss my ass.
Apparently, you're Ringo. You are Ringo.
He's the only one still alive, isn't he?
No.
McCartney's still alive too.
And some of
McCartney's
these
still
horses are going to have to run at some point. I mean, I
I
understand.
don't know
when
if
the
any of them
speed
are
go,
going to
but
run.
I need this one to fall off his horse because he
Dude,
looks
this
like
one,
he's
this
going to
one
be
looks
tough to
like he's
beat,
very
honestly.
interested.
He sat the trip.
That 9's gone.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Six
This
is
one
moving.
looks
looks
very
dangerous.
interested in winning
6
this
is
game.
moving.
If this one changes
Move
leads,
6. Keep
Oh,
moving
yep.
6.
Wow. The
Oh,
white
no,
horse
he's going to
confused
get
me.
caught by the 11.
Oh fuck!
Oh,
this
maybe
place.
not. Nope.
This
Going
this
to
used to
11.
be this used to be a fun racing product, and now I fucking hate this track. What the fuck did you do to ruin this shit? CDI.
I mean, if you can have that horse,
God
they should build
damn.
you a fucking statue.
Just a bunch of just stupid winners at this track all goddamn day. Fuck Turfway now. You
What?
used to be fun. Now I hate you.
What is even? Let me look at this one. I got nothing.
The one wasn't the problem. I think Emmanuel Esquivel fucked that ride up horribly.
I mean, at some point, neither of the 7 nor the 9 are need the lead kind of horse. At some point, you just sit off, right? You don't open up 40 lengths on the rest of the field.
You know, the bad thing is if you look at MS DOS 3.1, the one was a rear style horse according to the bells and whistles. So I'm not quite sure how that race went. There was no pace in that race.
Yeah,
No.
that was super weird. Well, I did nothing but lose money this week, so I think let's wrap up our show. We got a couple minutes here, and let's take a look at a race that's near and dear to Chase's heart, the Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap. Flip this
Yes,
over
with
here.
all the talent befitting of the historic Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap.
No, you don't like the field here?
I think Maxfield just absolutely fucking romps here. The only thing I could see hurting Maxfield is shipping in from a track that has that doesn't have the same whip rules. So maybe Independence Hall, maybe Maxfield are at a disadvantage, but I honestly think Maxfield fucking towers over this field. Ball game.
I don't
done.
know. I don't know if he towers over this field.
I mean, I don't know how
I
he
mean,
looks
Kid-
at other figs, but he's kind of slow on Briz. I mean, how's he look on DRF or time form?
Yeah, he's very slow. on
He's
Briz.
just too slow.
And it figures because, I mean, who's he beat? I mean, I get it. He's won easily in every match, but he's beat nobody.
I shouldn't say he's too slow. He's slower than others in here, but has he really been asked? That's always the question. He's going to be way over bet based on what you know about him.
I'll tell you guys right now. I mean, Caleb already knows who I'm betting in this race. So Caleb, I want you to talk about this race in the spirit of me.
On the spirit of Josh, he's going to scroll to the last page of this race, the little track bias stats, and scroll down. And he's going to go right to that little run style box. And the second he sees the letter E with the number 8 followed by it, he's going to be all in, especially if there's no other E's or no other horses that are above like a 6. So I would bet my farm that he's going to be on Tis a Magician.
And that horse, what's that horse? 9-5 with the My Racehorse backing there.
I mean, he's 12-1 on the morning line. I don't think we're gonna get that.
I
But
mean, this horse, he gets a little bit, hard to run down when he gets on the lead. But, he lost to Cupid's Claws, and nobody knows who Cupid's Claws is in the 1.5 mile race. And then he had it all his own way last time and got ran down by Express Train. Like, I get it. Speed is always dangerous at Santa Anita. We've seen this time and time again. I don't hate him at 12-1. I just don't think he's good enough. But I wouldn't tell anyone not to bet that horse.
yeah, I got 3 horses I want in this race. My top pick is Tis the Magician. I think we'll probably get halved. I'm thinking we're going to probably be like 7-1 or so on this horse. But that's going to be my top pick here. I think that he's going to get a nice trip again, like he did in the San Pasquale. He did get run down, but we'll give him another shot here. I'm going to go back to the King Guillermo well here as a B horse.
And you give me shit about this? Really?
So I'm going to go back to the King Guillermo
broke
well.
Welcome to Tampa Bay Downs, everybody.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Downs. I'm going to go back to King Guillermo well. I just think that we're going to get a price. I think we're going to get a much better price than we did last time. And we'll see how he runs with after freshening up last time after the layoff. So
This is just a little bit of housekeeping. I want to make sure you know. If you get the price, it doesn't matter if the horse doesn't win with that price. You know that, right?
It's true. It's true.
You understand how that works.
It's very true. But I'm 100% against Maxfield here. And I think he's going to be way too short, and I don't really like him in the spot. Obviously, if you don't like Maxfield, the other logical horse here, I think, is the one Independence Hall. And the one thing that I guess you can say about all 3 of these horses is they're going to be forwardly placed. So I'm going to take the 3 forwardly placed horses, and I'm going to get past Maxfield at what I think is going to be a real short price, and move forward that way. I'll probably end up playing this because I believe this is the start of the Golden Hour Late Pick 4. So I'll probably be playing those 3 horses, probably AB style somehow. But that's all I need in this race.
Hey, Mark, can you do you want to do a very quick look at the kill row? Someone just sent me a message and asked why no kill row.
Yeah, we can hop to the kill row after this if you don't mind me talking about the big cap real quick.
Yeah,
let me scroll
let me scroll down on King Guillermo
Maxfield,
real
we don't
quick.
need to talk about it anymore.
I was gonna say I think the kill row is the best race on the card. The kill row is phenomenally good. But just really quickly on the big cap, I think we already talked about Independence Hall and Maxfield. Obviously your logical, obvious winners. The other horse that I was really interested in here is the 4 Coastal Defense for Dale Tar. If you are a time form fig person, this is your fastest horse on time form. Has not done much in the last 3 or 4 starts, but if I'm looking at this race, I'm putting the 1, the 2, and the 4 all being equal. Another forwardly placed horse here. You're getting an East Coast invader with a very competent jock and Johnny V up. I like Coastal Defense quite a bit here at a bit of a price.
Yeah, I'm actually going to use a horse no one's mentioned yet, which is the 5 Express Train. That's my top pick in here. I've always thought this horse was going to be good going long, and for some reason they kept randomly throwing him in these sprint races, which I think was just too short for him. Didn't embarrass himself like in the Malibu. He ran second to Charlatan, but I do toss the turf try, of course. But then finally they put him going a mile and an eighth last time, and he had a huge win where he just ran that field over. I think this horse, based on pedigree and based on what I've seen, is going to love the mile and a quarter. So I'm really interested in him. He does have tactical speed to be forward. So that's the horse I'm going to play most of my tickets around. I think Stephen Fox brought it up in the chat, so I wanted to touch on it. But if you know me, I'm not the biggest disciple of speed figures. Like, I use them for sure, but I don't just take them at face value. I don't believe the number Independence Hall got at all. I don't believe the number of the Pegasus World Cup at all, for that matter. I feel like time form just inflates their speed figs based on the class of the race. And since we all know class doesn't matter, I think that's not right. So yeah, I don't think that's a legit fig. I don't think Independence Hall really wants to go this far. And, I'm probably not using anybody. I do kind of like Coastal Defense. He interests me on the stretch out, but I'm not interested in Independence Hall or the other horse exiting that race. Kiss Tomorrow goodbye. Kiss Today goodbye. And, if you've ever watched the stream, I don't like Maxfield. So he's going to be 4 to 5, and I can't bet him at that price. So once again, I'll be trying to beat him with mostly Express Train and maybe a sprinkling of a couple other horses underneath.
So, in your opinion, Caleb, if Maxfield is like 4 to 5 or even money here, what price do you think you're going to get in Independence Hall? You think you're going to get at least 3 to 1 on Independence Hall?
I do. I don't think there's a clear. I don't have morning lines up, so I can't really say.
It's 4 to 1 on the morning line.
I don't think there's a clear-cut second pick. Like, I think that Independence Hall is going to take substantial money off that last race, especially with Flavian Pratt aboard. I think my horse Express Train is going to take some money. I think Idol's going to take some money. So I think that after Maxfield, there's going to be a bunch of horses in the 3 to 1 to 7 to 1 kind of range. And I think that Independence Hall is probably second pick and probably at the 3 to 1 range, but I don't think he'll go shorter than that.
Hey, so I'm going to jump in there, Josh, because I've got a little bit different opinion. I went through and actually made lines for this one, and I think Independence Hall and Maxfield might be co-favorites come post time, just because Independence Hall does have that backing, adds Flavian here for second time out, and it's one of those things where you sit there and you start wondering, what's Maxfield have, right? Florent Drew shipping out west does not excite me at all. I think that actually keeps the price up a little bit, whereas Independence Hall seems like the type of horse that might get bet down because of the inflated Pegasus number. So, I'm thinking 2 to 1, Independence Hall. Granted, I like Independence Hall to win. If I had if you had a gun to my head right now, I'd probably pick Coastal Defense as a price, as a horse that's going to get overlooked. And, you let Maxfield and Independence Hall take all the money, and you hope Coastal Defense comes in on a stalking type trip with a smart ride by Johnny V.
It looks like Keep Pounding says no chance Maxfield is odds on. Murphy says he thinks Kiss Today Goodbye can be fast enough. He doesn't know if he wants a distance, but he's gotten 121 and 122 on time from US, so he can at least run that fast. And Sixer with the best thing, King G transcends consciousness.
I don't even know what that means. I like it.
You know,
If you want to talk about people being disciples of speed figures and Caleb not really being one, Murphy is a disciple of Timeform US. That is Murphy's shit. So whatever he says about Timeform, I am inclined to believe.
I looked at Kiss Today Goodbye for a long time, and I think if it's not Money Mike, I probably like that horse more. And I don't know if it's because of what happened in Pegasus or just, Mike Smith being Mike Smith. I think if I get a hungry jockey there, I'm excited for that horse in this spot. But with Mike Smith, it's just, you know what you're going to get, right? And I'm not sure if I can buy into that.
I'm looking at so I pulled up the Kilrow mile here, and I was kind of laughing because I haven't looked at it yet, but I looked at the horse in the first post, and I'm like, oh, Smooth Like Straight's in this. Like, this is right here, easy winner. And then I'm like, oh, Hit the Road's in here. Oh, and I just kept on saying, oh, when I saw these other horses, and yeah, I have to agree, this is a really, really good race.
I don't care. I can't make myself care about this race. I don't really care.
You can't care.
No.
You can't get it. I mean, it's just green stuff that they run on. I know for you that's a little bit odd, but
I'm sorry. I was still talking about the big cap.
Oh, okay.
No, the Kilrow. I mean, no. I do kind of enjoy the turf racing at Santa Anita. I don't mind that. Oh.
No, I mean, I think this is, if you look at this card, if you look at this late pick 5 sequence, this is the race you really have to figure out. I think it's the one that has the probably the highest VAR, most likely to produce a price. Now, it's a price that's definitely going to be covered. I don't think you're going to get a 30-1 here, but I think there's a lot of horses in this race that make a ton of sense. I know Caleb and I both really like Smooth Like Straight quite a bit in here. You're getting Turf Jesus. You're getting a horse that loves Santa Anita, and you're getting a horse that's probably controlling speed from the rail. Rispoli has to be forwardly placed. He's got no other choice. And this is a horse that loves that sort of, be on the engine and just can kind of be the best turning for home. And this is the one real true miler, horse that, there's a couple other real solid milers in here, but Smooth Like Straight is definitely a miler. This is definitely the right distance for this one. So I think it's hard to poke any holes in Smooth Like Straight. And, you can say a lot of the same for somebody like Hit the Road, the two coming, with Flo coming in to ride this for Dan Blacker. Again, a horse that, 5 or 7 at the distance, 3 for 4 at Santa Anita, a horse that, again, this is the right distance. This is the right surface. The other horse that I sort of, and I keep giving this horse another shot, and I don't know why I keep doing it, is the 6 Flavius, Pratt riding for Chad Brown, horse that on Timeform makes a ton of sense. This should be the right distance. Horse just doesn't really love to punch it home since coming, or at least punch it home at this level since coming to the States. A horse that always seems to be just there's always somebody else who's just a little bit better every time. But I think you can come in here and you can make a lot of cases for a lot of different horses, and interesting to see where everybody else sort of lands here.
Hey, Murphy just let us know that Golden Gate's going to run in about 20 minutes.
First post 9:27 p.m. or 7:27 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah. Leave it to Murphy to point out the 4-horse race getting ready to go off on the West Coast. Thanks, Murphy.
Yeah, this is a good race. It's a fun race for sure. I agree with Mark. I like Smooth Like Straight a lot in here. I normally try to use the Invaders when they come west for turf racing, but I don't see a lot of speed in this race. You get the best turf jockey on the West Coast, and he had a choice of Hit the Road, who's obviously a very legit horse himself, and ends up on Smooth Like Straight here. And I just think this horse makes a ton of sense. He's going to be tactical. I don't need to talk that horse anymore. But I don't like either Chad here. One of Spirit Animal probably has no chance in my opinion. Flavius, he just was a horse that doesn't seem to get the job done. I mean, takes money every time, but doesn't quite get there. I kind of wonder if he just likes a bit more give in the ground, given that 2 of his wins came overseas over a good and yielding surface, and even that Kentucky Downs race. I mean, they had some rain that week, even if the track's listed as firm. So that's not a horse I'm very interested in, especially as a one-run closer without much speed here. The other horses I kind of looked at was the 3 and the 7s. Social Paranoia, the Pletcher Invader makes a ton of sense. I don't know what distance this horse wants to go at, because it wins at 7.5 and it wins at a mile and 5/16. So maybe the horse just does it all. So I've said before with turf miles, I generally try to prefer true milers, and this horse is 3 for 3 at a mile. So maybe this is just the best distance here. And the other horse I liked was the 7, Casa Creed. I'll admit that I'm biased on this horse because I've been chasing him for like a year. But I just think that you can kind of make some excuses for him. The Shadwell Turf Mile, he went way too fast on the lead on a day where Keeneland's turf was pretty heavily favoring closers. I mean, it's hard to hold the Breeders' Cup against him in a race that just didn't have any logical winners in it. And he ran a nice race last out to ride a Comet, who is a very accomplished horse, 8 for 13 lifetime. So I think he's another horse that could be forwardly placed here. You get John Velasquez up. Belmont's barn's been firing on all cylinders. So I don't know that I would rush to bet that horse necessarily, but he's one that I do think could hit the board at a nice price.
I guess I got a request to make sure I keep racing at Golden Gate Field up here. Yeah, I haven't had much of a chance to look at this race, but I think Smooth Like Straight's a really nice horse. When I first looked at this race, just let names alone, that was who I kind of gravitated to. I think you got Rispoli sticking with Smooth Like Straight and getting off Hit the Road. So my guess is Rispoli thinks that Smooth Like Straight's the better of the horses. So I'm gonna ride with Rispoli, and I'll go with Smooth Like Straight as my top pick here. But I definitely do think this is a wide open race. I mean, probably over half the field's got a shot in this race, I would think. I am looking in chat here. Well, it looks like Murphy here says that he doesn't see how Ride a Comet loses unless he's given an absolute trash ride. So my guess is Ride a Comet's much the best on time form.
I don't agree there, Murph. I mean, if you're going off purely that last race, Ride a Comet's the fastest horse in the race, but that kind of seemed to come out of nowhere. If you go to any of the back class turf races, he just does not appear to be fast enough. And I sort of wonder, was that last race just an aberration? And quite honestly, the other option I have is I just plain, also it's Gulfstream Park. I kind of a little asterisk there. And quite honestly, Jordan Van Dyke, I just don't trust, quite honestly. He's just not been riding well. So, yeah, I mean, I understand where Murph's coming from. If you look at that last of that tropical turf at Gulfstream, horse makes a ton of sense, and it would tower over this field. I don't know if I want to say bounce, if I just don't trust this one. Something just doesn't quite feel right about it, though.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Since, you talked about Ride a Comet, Spirit Animal. How many times have we had a pick 5 Rosario'd? Right. This horse feels like it's way out of place, right? When I went to the PPs, I started looking at Spirit Animal, and I tried to make an argument for it because it's Chad Brown and Joel. And I'm like, I want to like this horse, and I can't get there. Can anybody make an argument for the Spirit Animal that's worth a damn?
That's worth a damn?
Yeah.
You could take some cheese ball angle like the other Chad, but that's about as far as I could go.
I mean, this feels like a 3-horse race, right? Smooth Like Straight, Flavius, and Hit the Road. Murphy likes Ride a Comet, so we'll call it a 4-horse race.
Oh, I definitely think Social Paranoia needs to be in that conversation.
Flavius sounds like Flavian Pratt if he played basketball in the ABA in the 70s.
Or if he was a gladiator in the
Why are you adding on? I had a joke and it was just fine. And then you had to go take like an actual historical angle. Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you like this?
Wait, is he going real gladiator or American gladiators? Like, because if it's Mike Adamley,
yeah,
money.
Yeah, if it's American gladiators, it's more like
turbo.
Thunder.
I did see John Massey, and I tossed it up here. He's asking how far we think Flying Scotsman can go on the front end. English Channel continues to scream 1 mile on the turf.
I don't think Flying Channel makes the lead here.
Flying Scotsman?
Who's John?
Flying. I don't think Flying Scotsman makes the lead.
Who's John Massey? Do we like that guy?
No, we don't like that guy.
Mark the one.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. No, I quite honestly, I think Smooth Like Straight's just faster, and I think coming out of the one hole, especially to 1 mile with the relatively short run up at Santa Anita, I think Rispoli has to go, and I think Smooth Like Straight is just plain faster early. So I think Flying Scotsman ends up sort of like that stalking outside trip. I don't think he ends up on the lead.
Do you think Casa Creed gets involved early? And the horse has been on and off, on and off. It's kind of hard to tell what that horse is going to do. You know, with Johnny V aboard, I have to think they sit kind of a pressing trip, right?
They got us at a pressing trip. Yeah, I would expect him to be outside, maybe sort of in that first tailing flight, maybe sitting, I don't know, third, fourth, something like that, stalking trip, and hopefully have enough horse late. And again, that's a horse I can actually make quite a case for, to tell you the truth. At a bit of a price, so.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at chat here. John Massey says Flavius just means blonde guy. He could be telling the truth. He could be trolling. I don't know.
He's probably trolling. He's sweet, sassy John trolling. That makes no sense. I'll shut up now.
I think the stream has jumped the shark.
I did see. Elliot says, "Don't complicate things." A 7-hole wins turf routes at Santa Anita.
Casa Creed
on it. Bill Mott, Johnny V, single. Book it.
I mean, I do like Casa Creed. I don't know, man. This horse hasn't won since 2019. It's a long time to go between wins.
I know people haven't won a date since 2019, so that works out well. Yes.
That's just weird. Yeah, I think it's probably gonna do it for us. Unless there's anything else, Mark. Is there anything else you had looked at? I know you were very, very into this card at Santa Anita. This is probably the card of the weekend, right?
Yeah, from what I saw so far as the card of the weekend, this is probably first. Tampa's probably second as far as stakes race and real high caliber racing. I'll be focused. Well, you can also make an argument that the Meydan races Saturday morning are right up there as well. I think Meydan looks really, really good for Saturday. So probably plan some Meydan in the morning, and I will be really heavily targeting this Santa Anita sequence for the late.
Are you mostly focusing on tournaments this weekend, or what you doing?
I don't really know. I probably have some tournament play in there. Maybe go after some of the track exclusives kind of stuff and play the 175 track exclusives. But I'm not quite sure what exactly I'm targeting at. I'll take a bit of a deeper look.
Chase, how's Oak Lawn look?
A pretty good card. It's going to be dry. It's actually going to be dry all weekend. I think that even the chance of rain for tomorrow is moved out, and if it is, it's really not that tall of one. You got the Honeybee, which is a grade stakes, and the Oaks Prep, which should be pretty entertaining. I'm looking forward to it. Competitive cards, good weekend. I'll probably watch the Gotham because I have a soft spot for Aqueduct. Really don't care about Tampa, but I'll probably watch Tampa Bay Stakes, and I'm sure in our chat you guys will be fucking yapping away about Santa Anita, so I guess I'll end up by proxy paying attention to that bullshit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
John Massey did say that there's a NHC free roll this weekend, right?
Oh, is there?
Close your eyes and throw darts.
Who's it through?
It's horse tourneys.
Yeah, over on Horse Players, the free one.
Brian, what are you looking at this weekend?
So I'm looking at Hawthorne Race 7 on Saturday. It's an allowance race with 6 whole horses.
Yeah, I saw that they didn't draw real well this week, so I'm hoping next week they get a little bit better support.
So for those of you unfamiliar, Hawthorne is undergoing a casino construction right now, and they did not apply for weekday racing. No surprise. Figured the card was going to be a little weak. We look forward to 2022, maybe the winter meet at Hawthorne. We'll see what happens. But, there's a couple of horses this weekend at Hawthorne that look interesting. It's just small fields, man. And all credit to the Hawthorne family. That whole group of people, they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to save Illinois horse racing. And stick around, because 2022 will be bigger and better for Hawthorne.
John Massey shouting out the Hawthorne harness. It was my biggest Roy track last year. I played it like one night, and I hit a pick 3 or pick 4 for like $150.
Hey, John Massey, if you need pictures from the track, I'll head up there. Yeah,
hey, we should just plan a night. If they're open for spectators or a day, we should just go on a Saturday, Brian.
They are open. I sent the email already off to Jim to see if we can do some publicity on track, Josh. And I was going to get with you later, but I guess we'll have a production meeting right here.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds like that'd be fun. I like Jim. Jim's a good guy. He good presence on Twitter. He seems like I mean, honestly, most of the people at tracks are real approachable, so that's nice. Hey, Caleb, go ahead, Brian.
I want to put you on the spot, Josh. The end of March, I think it's the 27th and 28th, Prospect Heights Hawthorne OTB. It's got the Hawthorne NHC qualifiers. It's going to be a cash tournament. Going to be many people from the Chicagoland Twitter at the Prospect Heights OTB. So my reservation's made. I booked a +1, Josh. So
right,
you're coming.
I'll take a look. I think I'll be back. I think I'll be back for vacation, but I'm getting the wrap it up sign.
Wrap it up,
Caleb, what are you looking at Saturday?
Sorry, I think I got it off.
Sorry, Chase.
Talk. But I mean, I'm gonna look at Santa Anita for sure. It's probably the best card of the weekend. I'll watch Tampa Bay Stakes. I won't bet it, and I'll bet Aqueduct because that's probably my best track. But I'm not looking forward to it that much because typically there's no bias on big days, and that's when I can really make my money there. But tomorrow I'll be at Aqueduct, and hopefully they don't fuck with the track too much tomorrow before Saturday.
So you're not playing the 3K tournament?
I'm not playing the 3K tournament now.
Sip and paint?
Something like that.
All right, yeah, and then I think I'll be mostly focused on probably Gulfstream because I don't know, for some reason Gulfstream seems to make sense. So fucking 2021, man. Crazier than 2020. But we are on the wrong lead. You can catch us at wrong_lead on Twitter. Obviously, you guys have our YouTube channel on thewronglead.com. Buy t-shirts. We will have some more contests and giveaways and stuff coming up. We'll work on that. Shout out to Keep Pounding as usual. Shout out to John Massey because I have to mention him secondly. Shout out to big winner Jared Bush today hitting that Oak Lawn pick 5 for a nice little 9-1 win there. So, but yeah, we'll catch you guys later, and good luck this weekend.